Have you ever walked into your home and felt a strange heaviness in the air, even though everything seemed normal on the surface? What if I told you that the way you feel inside your home is not just a reflection of your mood, but a direct consequence of the environmental energy? Every corner, every forgotten object, every emotion left in the air is influencing your mind, affecting your well-being, and unbalancing your mind without you noticing. Many people believe that tiredness, anxiety, or irritation only come from the rush of everyday life, from work, obligations, external pressures. But what if I told you that much of this emotional weight starts inside your home? Yes, your home, the space that should be your refuge, may be silently draining your energy, your creativity, and your inner peace. Think about it. How many times have you come home expecting to relax, but instead, you feel even more tense? You may have chalked it up to a rough day, but deep down, you knew something was wrong. This discomfort, this feeling of oppression, may not be just your imagination. It could be the invisible accumulation of stagnant energies, permeated in every detail of the environment where you live. The energy of your home is alive. It can strengthen you, welcome you, recharge you, or it can silently pull you down. If you feel stuck, restless, or emotionally overwhelmed, perhaps your home needs something deeper than a simple cleaning. Maybe she needs a real energetic cleansing. Maybe you're wondering how something you can't see can have such an impact on your body and mind. But think, just as the human body carries tension after moments of stress, environments also absorb the emotions we experience in them. Arguments, hurts, fears, sadness, all of this leaves invisible marks on the environment. And without renewal, this energy becomes increasingly heavier, increasingly dense. This invisible layer of negativity influences your sleep, your concentration, your mood, and even your ability to relax. It affects the balance of your mind, leaving you exhausted and without explanation. Suddenly, that space that was supposed to be your refuge becomes a silent weight that you carry every day. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept this. There are simple and accessible ways to remove negative energy from your home easily and effectively. Methods that do not require large investments or complicated rituals, and that can completely transform not only your environment, but also your emotional and mental state. Imagine walking into your home and immediately feeling relief. Imagine feeling your energy renewed, your mind calm, your heart lighter. This is not a distant dream. It is absolutely possible when you learn to identify and clear the energies that surround you every day. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize when the energy of your home is sabotaging you, and most importantly, how to transform this environment into a true haven of peace and balance. Let's discover practical and powerful techniques together to restore the natural harmony of your home and return the lightness you deserve. Because what you're feeling right now, this restlessness that you can't explain, may not just be the result of the busyness of the day. And from today onwards, you will never look at the energy of your home in the same way. Your home should be a haven of peace, a place where you recharge your energy and find balance. But what if, without realizing it, he is being just the opposite? Maybe what you feel when you get home, that persistent tiredness, irritation for no reason, or even that silent anguish, isn't just coming from your routine, it's coming from your space. What if the environment around you is charged with an invisible energy that weighs, distances, and destabilizes your mind? If this resonates with you, know that you are not alone. Many people experience this disconnection with their own home and suffer in silence, thinking it's normal to feel this way. But today, that could change. Throughout this video, you will discover a simple and effective way to completely transform the energy in your home, and with that, also transform the way you feel in your everyday life. I will show you how to identify the invisible signs of imbalance and guide you through a practical energy cleansing process that will renew your environment, calm your mind, and give you back control of your own energy. This change is real, accessible, and starts with attitudes that you can apply today. Now, I want to invite you to be part of this movement. Write here in the comments, in one word, how your home makes you feel today. Just that, one word. You'll be surprised to realize how many people are going through the same thing, and how this space here can be a support network. And if you know someone who is always complaining about the environment where they live, share this video right now. This simple action could be the beginning of the transformation she so desperately needs. What you're about to see could completely change the way you see your home, your routine, and even your emotional health. Each detail revealed will open your perception to something that was there all along, but now you will know how to clean, adjust, and transform. So stay with me until the end, because what comes next could be the first step towards the welcoming, energetically balanced home you've always wanted to live in. You know exactly what it's like. You come home after an exhausting day, hoping to finally find some peace. Take off your shoes, relax your body on the sofa, look around, and feel a weight. A strange silence, not that welcoming silence, but a silence that seems to carry something suspended in the air. The light seems colder, the environment more charged, and inside you, instead of relief, comes a subtle, almost imperceptible, but constant restlessness. This is no coincidence. This discomfort may have an invisible, but absolutely real origin: the energy in your home. It is at this moment that the truth begins to reveal itself. The space where you live is directly influencing your emotional health, your productivity, your sleep, your relationships, and even your ability to think clearly. This happens because everything around you emits and retains energy. And when this energy is dense, stagnant, or permeated with negative emotions, the impact on your mental well-being becomes inevitable. Many people live in emotionally charged homes every day without realizing it, and the signs are everywhere. One of the first signs is the constant feeling of tiredness, even after resting, that exhaustion that seems to have no clear reason. You wake up without energy, even though you slept. He spends the day dreaming about the moment to return home, but when he finally arrives, he doesn't feel welcomed. He feels oppressed. This sensation is one of the main signs that the environmental energy is misaligned with what you really need to feel good. Another common sign is sudden irritability, arguments for no apparent reason, harsher speeches, difficulty in dialogue between those who live in the same space. When energy is out of balance, it infiltrates relationships and distorts the emotional climate of the home. Small problems turn into big conflicts. Words gain weight that they didn't have before. And all of this happens subtly, as if the environment itself was amplifying the tensions. You may also feel a constant feeling of stagnation, as if your life had stopped. Projects don't get off the ground, important decisions get stuck, and motivation seems distant. In many cases, this emotional and mental blockage is directly linked to the energy accumulated in the house. Very busy environments, with an excess of objects, poorly positioned furniture, inadequate lighting, and impregnated emotional memories, create true energy stagnation points. And this is directly reflected in your behavior, your feelings, and your willingness to act. The human mind responds intensely to organization, light, colors, and energy circulation within a space. When these elements are out of adjustment, the impact goes beyond aesthetics. It affects your mental clarity, your tranquility, and your sense of direction. You begin to live in a constant state of sensory overload, where everything seems to be too much information, too much noise, too much clutter. This excess is not just physical, it is emotional, and it creates a silent but powerful cycle of burnout. Another important sign is difficulty relaxing indoors. No matter how much you try to create moments of rest, it seems like something pulls you back into a state of tension, as if there was a dissonant vibration in the air, preventing your mind from shutting down. This inability to disconnect from stress within one's own home is one of the clearest manifestations of an unbalanced energy, and often it is the result of a series of accumulations: objects without function, forgotten corners, memories that carry heavy emotions, patterns that repeat themselves in silence on the walls of your home. Even your creativity can be affected. Ideas don't seem to flow, thoughts become repetitive, inspiration hides. When the environment is energetically heavy, it blocks the natural flow of creation and innovation. Your mind loses the internal space necessary to imagine, dream, plan. And so, little by little, you adapt to this weight, as if it were normal to live like this. But it's not. A home can be a place of deep healing, of emotional balance, of reconnection with what is most essential in you. But to do this, it is necessary to recognize when the energy is not aligned with this purpose. Observing these signs carefully is the first step. They do not appear by chance, and each one of them is an invitation from your own body from your own soul, for something to change. Energy in your home, it is always on the move. What defines whether it supports you or makes you sick is the way you take care of this environment. And care begins with awareness, by perceiving details, for that discomfort you feel when entering a specific room, for that area that you avoid without knowing exactly why, for that object that always takes you back to a difficult moment. All of these elements are talking to you all the time, and your body feels it before your mind even understands. You may also notice that certain places in your home retain a strange feeling, a room where the air seems heavier, a room that, even if clean, conveys despondency, a corridor where thoughts become more accelerated. These spaces are showing you that the emotional energy has not been released completely, that there is still an accumulation there that needs to be transformed. And it's not just about physical cleaning, although that is important. Here we are talking about a type of invisible cleaning, a cleaning that changes the vibration of the environment, that realigns the atmosphere of the house with lightness, with flow, with calm. This energetic cleansing is what creates a truly healthy environment where body, mind, and emotions can breathe together. And this understanding is essential, because as long as you continue to live surrounded by old, dense, and unresolved energies, your well-being will always be limited. Your home needs to reflect who you are today, not who you were in difficult times. It needs to support your choices, not trap you in emotional patterns that should have already been overcome. It needs to strengthen you, not wear you down. Therefore, recognizing these signs is the beginning of a process of reconnection with your home and with yourself. When you clearly see the impact of environmental energy in your daily life, it is impossible to ignore what needs to be done, because you feel it, you know. And that's precisely where the real transformation begins, in the awareness that something needs to change. And when you learn to notice what is out of place, energetically speaking, you open the door to a new way of living, a lighter, more intuitive way, more aligned with your essence. And that's the next step we're going to take together. Realizing all of this is already a big step, because when you recognize that discomfort is not only within you, but also around you, your outlook changes. And along with it, the desire to act is born. Understanding that these signs are more than isolated sensations, they are alerts from your body and mind, is what allows you to get out of automatic mode and start creating a home that is lighter, healthier, and more aligned with who you are today. But recognizing the signs is just the beginning. From here, the question changes: what to do with this perception? How to transform this environment without depending on radical changes or solutions outside your reality. There is an accessible, possible, and real path for anyone who wants to restore the energy in their own home. And it starts by preparing the space for this renovation. And that's what I'm going to show you from now on. How to reconnect with your environment in a practical way, starting with the details that seem simple, but that have the power to completely change the vibe of your home. Because transforming the energy around you is also transforming everything that happens inside you. Stay with me, because in the next step, we will together understand how to start this energetic cleansing process with intention, awareness, and clarity. That's when real change begins, and you'll realize that it's much closer than you imagined. Transforming the energy of your home begins with understanding, in a deep way, that the environment where you live goes far beyond walls, furniture, and objects. It is, in fact, a living, sensitive field in constant exchange with your emotional state. Your home absorbs, stores, and reflects everything that happens within its walls. Your joys, your tensions, your silences, your fears, your achievements. Every step taken in this space, every word spoken, every emotion felt, leaves an energetic trail. And over time, this accumulation begins to intensely influence your routine, your thoughts, your decisions, and the way you feel about life. The energy of the environment directly interferes with your mental and emotional disposition. When a space is loaded with unresolved emotions, old memories, or poorly digested situations, the body feels it, the mind responds. You begin to notice a drop in mood, a lack of clarity, a feeling of internal heaviness that does not disappear with rest or distractions. What's around you affects how you relate to what's inside you. This connection is real, palpable, and affects all areas of your life: your productivity, your creativity, your ability to concentrate, and even your physical health. And all of this has an explanation. The energy field of the house is made up of a set of elements that vibrate at different frequencies. Light, color, sound, organization, objects, memories. Every part of your home vibrates in tune with what you lived and live there. When this vibration is in harmony with your essence, you feel welcome, clarity, and tranquility. When dissonance exists, you feel restlessness, overwhelm, and difficulty balancing. The environment affects the emotional state in the same way that a sound can cause calm or discomfort, that a light can warm or harden the gaze. And that's why the energy cleaning of the house is so essential. It is not aesthetic, it is therapeutic. It is not decorative, it is transformative. Your home directly influences how you start and end your day. The first environment you see when you wake up and the last one before going to sleep become continuous stimuli for your mind. A dark, stuffy, visually heavy room affects the quality of your sleep, the rhythm of your thoughts, the balance of your breathing. A messy kitchen interferes with your eating, your focus, and your internal organization. A disorganized workspace undermines your clarity, wastes time, leaves you in a state of continuous alert, activating stress even without external pressure situations. The way objects are arranged, the type of decor you chose or inherited, the rooms you avoid, all of this is saying something about the energetic state of your home and the reflection it has on your mind. A home in imbalance becomes sick silently. It drains vital energy, fuels stagnation, and creates a feeling of disconnection that spreads within. You can even try to compensate for this with physical organization or superficial changes, but without paying attention to the subtle field, the feelings of emptiness, exhaustion, and blockage keep returning. This impact is felt mainly in its relationship with time. In an energetically overloaded space, time seems to drag by. Hours pass without real productivity. Days repeat themselves in cycles that do not advance. You feel like you're always busy, but you never move. This is a clear symptom that the energy of the environment is influencing your perception, and with that, your motivation and personal fulfillment. On the other hand, when the house is aligned with a light, clean, and fluid frequency, time expands. Ideas appear more clearly, decisions are more assertive, life gains movement. Your home has the power to expand or weaken your emotional field. A space with healthy energy circulation works like a mirror that reminds you of your value, your ability to act, create, and renew yourself. It is an environment that favors restorative silence, focus, and deep rest. And this is directly reflected in how you behave in relationships, at work, in your routine. Everything improves when your environment cooperates with your evolution. But when the house is out of step with what you want to feel, it blocks internal processes. It's like trying to run on a sinking floor. You try, you strive, but something always holds you back. And this something is often linked to stories that were printed in space, moments of pain, conflicts, losses, emotional repetitions that were recorded on the walls, in objects, in forgotten corners. This type of energetic memory acts as a field that interferes with your personal vibration. And that is why energetic cleansing is not just a ritual. It is an act of care for yourself. Clearing the energy in your home is like clearing space within yourself. It's a way of saying, I choose to breathe lighter. It's allowing the environment to be an ally on your journey, not an anchor that keeps you stuck in old versions of who you once were. The accumulated energy interferes with your identity, shapes your behavior patterns, and even influences your automatic thoughts. Therefore, the more you ignore the impact of the space where you live, the further you distance yourself from your own clarity. Awareness of this changes everything. Realizing that you can transform your emotional state based on the environment you live in is liberating. It takes the weight of personal guilt away and puts the focus on practical action. You don't need to understand everything about energy, spirituality, or alternative therapies to get started. You just need to observe, feel, and act, because the energy in your home talks to you all the time. And from the moment you listen, you begin to regain control over how you feel, and this completely changes your relationship with life. This house that you inhabit every day is your closest reflection. It's where your mind rests, where your emotions manifest, where your decisions are born. An energetically clean space favors clearer thoughts, more balanced emotions, and more conscious attitudes. It protects your inner peace. It preserves your focus. It stimulates your growth. And that's exactly what you start to cultivate when you choose to take care of the energy in your home. You establish a reciprocal relationship with the environment. You give attention and receive balance. You reorganize on the outside and realign on the inside. All of this happens almost imperceptibly at first, but little by little you feel that something has changed. Lightness increases, breathing slows down, the body relaxes, the heart finds silence, and the mind finally rests. This is the importance of recognizing the real impact that the space you live in has on your personal journey. Your home needs to be part of your healing, your evolution, your emotional liberation. And this change begins right where you are now, with this awareness that has just opened up, and with the next steps you will learn to take from here. This content has already touched something inside you, because once you recognize that the energy in your home directly interferes with your mind, your emotions, and your well-being, it is impossible to continue seeing your home in the same way. You have already begun this transformation, and it is real, profound, and necessary. Realizing that your home is a living reflection of your internal state changes everything. And now that this new look has been activated, you are ready to take the next steps. In the videos that follow, you will understand how to apply, in practice, simple and accessible actions that will purify the environment where you live, restore the balance of your energy, and create, day after day, a space that truly supports your evolution. So, subscribe to the channel now. Here, you will find a continuous path of transformation, self-care, and reconnection with what really matters, living in a home that welcomes, inspires, and strengthens you. Each video is an invitation to delve deeper into this process, and you are already part of it. All true change begins with a simple gesture, a silent choice, but full of intention. After everything you've felt so far, it's natural that a clear desire to do something different begins to emerge within you, a desire to breathe lighter, to feel the home as a safe, welcoming, living space, as a true reflection of your renewed energy. And this is within your reach. Start to energy cleaning of your home. It does not require complicated formulas, mystical knowledge, or large structures. What you need is much closer than you think. It's within you, in your look, in your intention, and in some simple elements that you already have or find easily. The first thing to understand is that this process begins with presence. Even before any practical action comes clarity of intention. You have already realized that something in your environment needs to change. You've already recognized the signs. Have you felt the impact of environmental energy in your mind, in your body, in your well-being? And now it's time to open up, to transform. Take a deep breath. Observe each room with new eyes and bring to this moment the conscious decision to restore lightness to your home. The energy cleaning of the house. It is, above all, a reconnection with what really matters. And this reconnection needs truth, presence, and delivery. To achieve this, some natural elements will help you carry out this transformation with more focus and fluidity. Water, coarse salt, incense, and candle. Simple, ancestral, accessible, and deeply effective elements when it comes to moving stagnant energy and bringing back balance. Water represents fluidity, acceptance, sensitivity. Coarse salt acts as a powerful purifier, capable of absorbing dense charges accumulated in objects, walls, and forgotten corners. Incense expands the vibration of the environment, cleaning the air and renewing the frequency of the home. And the candle represents the fire of consciousness, illuminating where there was previously shadow and bringing life to spaces that seemed dormant. These items are not magical, but they become profoundly powerful when used with clear intent. When you light a candle with presence, it becomes more than just a flame. It becomes a symbol. When you spread coarse salt with focus, it becomes more than crystals. It becomes a healing instrument. When you open a window, play soft music, and let the air circulate, you are saying to the universe and to yourself, here begins a new cycle. A cycle where the home energy is cared for, where the environment doesn't overwhelm you, it supports you. And this care transforms everything. Before starting any movement, it is essential to carefully prepare the environment. Start by opening all the windows in the house. Let the light enter, the wind touch the corners, the air be renewed, the natural circulation of air begins to move the most subtle layers of energy, breaking stagnation. Then choose some soothing music. It can be instrumental, nature sounds, songs, or even that melody that calms you down deeply. The sound also vibrates, also cleans, also realigns. He enters where words are not enough, and a house that listens to light music is a house that begins to breathe more freely. By creating this mood, you open up not just physical but vibrational space. You begin to prepare each room to receive new energy, and it doesn't require rushing. On the contrary, it is an invitation to slow down. Each action done with presence enhances the effect of energy cleansing, and in this process, an open mind is your greatest ally. Allow yourself to feel the environment deeply. Understand what each space conveys. Identify where the blockage is, where the energy is stuck. This realization comes naturally as you surrender to the process, and the more attention you pay, the more you will discover that the house talks to you, that it reveals what needs to be taken care of. Preparation at this point is not just external, it also happens inside you. It is important that your presence is complete. May you enter this moment with openness, with listening, with a sincere decision to transform. An energy responds to truth. You can use a glass of water with coarse salt in the corner of a room, and when you do it carefully, this gesture becomes a point of energetic transmutation. You can light an incense, and, as you walk around the house with it, intend that everything that weighs you down dissolves. And this intention has an effect. The invisible reacts to what comes from the heart. And when you understand this, you understand that you have real transformational power in your hands. At this stage, there are no complex techniques or elaborate ceremonies. The focus is on simplicity. In fact, it exists in a clean, light, alive space. And that's why anyone can apply these actions. All you have to do is sincerely hope that your home will once again become a space of support, not wear and tear. A space where energy circulates lightly, where the mind finds rest, where the body relaxes, and the spirit feels at peace. The energetic cleaning of the house begins with this delicate, almost silent, but incredibly deep preparation. As you organize this moment, realize that every detail matters. Choosing the time of day, for example. The morning light brings expansion, new beginnings. Dusk carries introspection and depth. The night invites reflection and transmutation. Listen to what your internal moment demands. Feel the time in your home. Respect the rhythm of each environment. There are spaces that demand more attention, others that flow easily, and this is all part of it. The process does not need to be the same in every room. Each one reveals itself as you walk, as you take care of it. You can choose to start at the entrance to the house. It represents the connection point between the external world and your personal universe. This is where everything arrives. And clearing this space is like opening the doors for a new flow of energy to enter. It can be with a damp cloth with water and coarse salt. It can be with a few drops of lavender essential oil. It can be with a candle lit in a corner, with an incense that runs from the door to the inside. The most important thing is to be present in each gesture. It's feeling like what you're doing has purpose, that every movement carries intention. This initial care creates the basis for the entire energy cleaning process that follows. It organizes the environment and also your internal field. It aligns your presence with the house. And when this harmony begins to form, you begin to notice almost instantaneous changes. The feeling of heaviness begins to give way. The air feels lighter. The mind becomes silent inside, and the environment responds more calmly, with more clarity. It is the beginning of a new vibration, a vibration that sustains you, that strengthens you, that reconnects you. And from this preparation, the journey of energy renewal deepens. You've already made room. You have already activated the environment with intention. You have already tuned in to the new energy you want to build. And this is precisely where cleaning techniques begin to gain strength. Because now, everything is ready to truly transform. Now that you have prepared this new space with awareness, presence, and intention, something has already started to move inside. The air seems different, perception changes, and even thoughts move more lightly. It's as if, little by little, the house starts to breathe with you. And when that happens, it's inevitable to feel it. It is at this moment that a deeper connection is born between the environment and those who inhabit it. A state where what was once heavy begins to dissolve. This is a unique moment. It marks the beginning of a new relationship with your home, more sensitive, more fluid, more alive. And expressing what you are feeling now is also part of this transformation process. Because when you put into words the vibration you want to cultivate in your space, something becomes firm, strengthened, anchored in reality. So let that energy circulate. Allow it to manifest itself in a simple way, as in a whisper that echoes lightness. You can leave here, as a comment, the sentence that translates this moment: "My house breathes." And by doing so, you further activate the energy of care, connection, and presence in your home, and inspire others to do the same. Because every gesture counts, every word vibrates, and each shared intention strengthens the environment of those who are on this journey with you. From the moment the house is prepared, silent, receptive, with the environment already activated by your intention, by the opening of the windows, by the light, by the soft sound, and by the air that has begun to circulate lightly, something inside you also begins to reorganize itself. The next step is to shape the transformation. It is time to apply, with presence and awareness, the methods that purify, elevate, and realign the environmental energy, bringing back the natural balance that sustains well-being in everyday life. Among the most effective and affordable methods is burning white sage, or incense, known to many as smudging. It's an ancestral practice used in different cultures around the world for a simple reason: it works. When lighting sage or incense, the aroma that spreads throughout the space carries with it the power to cleanse, dissolve, and transform the accumulated density. But it's much more than the smell. It's the vibration of the fire and smoke working in subtle layers. When you walk slowly through the rooms with the sage lit, guiding the smoke through the corners, along the baseboards, through the doors, you are moving everything that was stagnant, causing the energy to circulate again. While performing this gesture, the intention remains present. Movement is done with focus and meaning. As you pass through the room, you perceive lightness and unity. In the bedroom, peace and deep rest. In the kitchen, nutrition and harmony. Each environment gets what it needs, and the smoke becomes a messenger of this purpose. It touches where vision cannot reach, goes through the layers of the invisible, and dissolves what was heavy, still, lost in time. In a short time, the air is renewed, the atmosphere changes, and you feel, with your body, with your skin, with the new silence that settles in, that something has been released. Another powerful feature is the use of sal grosso, one of the elements best known for its purification capacity. Simple, direct, and profoundly effective, salt has the role of absorbing emotional charges that are embedded in objects, walls, furniture, and especially in the corners of the house. Applying salt to strategic points in the environment creates true energy cleansing points. You can prepare small containers of coarse salt and place them in places where you feel the greatest density: behind doors, under beds, in dark corners, near electronic equipment, or in environments where there has been recent emotional tension. Leave the salt to act for a few hours or an entire day. It will capture the vibrational excess of that space, and by disposing of it afterwards, always respectfully, preferably throwing it away from the house, you end a cycle. The gesture, although simple, is profound. It shows the environment that there is care, that there is presence, that there is active intention to restore the natural flow. And the answer is immediate. The environments become lighter, more airy, more welcoming. The seam, it is another great ally of energy cleaning. And here, it's not just about listening to ambient music. It's about activating space through sound vibration. Sounds have the power to reorganize the frequency of places. You can use bells, Tibetan bowls, rattles, or even clap firmly in the densest corners of the house. Every sound generates an impact. Bells bring clarity and renewal. Tibetan singing bowls create a continuous wave of healing. Palms break stagnant fields. Rattles dispel subtle blockages. Sound acts like an energetic scanner. It travels through rooms, finds areas of noise, and reorganizes them in harmony. Traveling through environments with these instruments allows you to understand where the sound flows and where it seems muffled. These denser points indicate where the energy needs more attention, and by touching there frequently, firmly, and lovingly, you rebalance the field. Many people report feeling immediate relief after this process, a kind of expansion, as if the space had been unobstructed, as if the house itself had taken a deep breath and remade itself inside. Furthermore, one of the most powerful and often underestimated methods is in rearranging furniture and objects. The way you position what is around you directly interferes with the energy flow. Furniture that blocks passages, objects accumulated in excess, broken or unused items generate a type of invisible obstruction that blocks the movement of energy, and consequently, life itself. Small changes of location, a little more free space, unobstructed surfaces, all of this allows energy to flow freely and find ways to circulate. This reorganization does not need to follow strict rules. She needs to follow her feelings. Feel what bothers you, what is screaming energetically. What you always look at and feel is out of place. Each adjustment made with care has a direct impact on the environment. Sometimes all it takes is changing the position of an armchair, moving a bookshelf away from the wall, or removing excess objects from a table. The result appears in a subtle and profound way. Space opens, and along with it, the mind also expands. By reorganizing your home, you are also reorganizing your internal energy. It is bringing order to what was dispersed. You are creating new paths for your emotions to flow in a more balanced way. And above all, you are showing yourself that you deserve to live in an environment that favors your lightness, your clarity, your focus, your tranquility. This coherence between inside and outside is what sustains a living house, breathing with you. These methods, burning sage, using coarse salt, sound activation, and reorganizing space, are simple, accessible, and profoundly effective. There is no need to overly ritualize or complicate the process. Just be present. Just do it truthfully. Each action done with this intention activates something much bigger. It moves the energy in your home and transforms, in a real way, the vibration you feel on a daily basis. You can feel this already in the first steps. The environment changes, the silence changes, the light seems softer, the body responds with more relaxation. The house starts to welcome you in a new way, and this is just the beginning of energy cleansing. The process deepens as you walk, as you feel, as you apply, day after day, this conscious care. When the house begins to breathe lighter, when the air no longer seems trapped, when the body feels the difference of being in a clean, alive, and energetically balanced space, a new responsibility naturally arises, sustaining this vibration. Because real transformation does not happen in a single gesture. It manifests itself in repetition, consistency, daily attention to small details that previously went unnoticed. The environmental energy responds all the time to the actions you cultivate within it. Therefore, keeping your home vibrating at a high frequency is simpler than it seems, and at the same time, deeply powerful. After energy cleaning, every corner of the house becomes more sensitive. It's like a new, fertile field, ready to flourish or be contaminated again. And it all starts with visible organization, a space where everything has its place, where excesses have been removed, where aesthetics meets functionality, is also a space where the mind feels safe to relax. The physical organization generates emotional organization. You start to think more clearly, feel less distractions, make decisions with more presence. Therefore, keeping environments in order is more than a practical matter. It is a continuous way of preserving the quality of the energy that circulates. The mess, accumulation, and excess, when they return, interrupt this flow. They close paths, create obstacles, pull the mind back into the noise. Therefore, the practice of conscious organization, done little by little, with care, without rigid demands, is one of the most powerful tools to protect the vibration of your home. A simple gesture like putting away what was used, emptying forgotten drawers, or making space on the shelves renews the air, reactivates the flow, and brings back the freshness of what is light. Along with external order comes the importance of regular purification. An energy cleansing routine does not need to be complex or time-consuming. The essential thing is that it is constant. Once a week, you can dedicate a few minutes to renew your home field. You can relight an incense or a candle. You can wipe the door frames with a cloth with water and salt. You can spray a spray with essential oils in the most forgotten corners. You can ring bells or emit soft sounds that move the vibration. The secret is in intentional repetition. The more you do it consciously, the more the house understands that there is presence, care, and purpose there. This weekly moment can become a subtle, silent ritual full of meaning, a space within your routine to reconnect with yourself and the environment, a pause that restores harmony. When you repeat these small gestures, you are reaffirming your desire to live in balance. You are saying, with actions, that your home is a reflection of your inner peace, and this reflex needs to be cultivated with respect and attention. Another essential element to maintain this high vibration are the natural plants. They have the ability to absorb air density, balance the energy field, and at the same time, bring freshness, beauty, and life to environments. A healthy plant completely transforms the feel of a room. It purifies effortlessly, imparts growth, brings nature closer. Having plants scattered around the house, in corners, near windows, in the kitchen, in the hallway, is like creating little healing portals around you. They silence, heal, renew the air and the soul. Taking care of plants is also a way of taking care of your emotional energy. By watering them, cleaning their leaves, moving their pots around, you practice presence. You activate observation, and this connection with the rhythm of nature teaches you every day to respect the timing of things, to soften your gaze and find beauty in the details. Each plant is a living reminder that everything that breathes also vibrates, and what vibrates transforms. Furthermore, maintain the positive energy in the house. It involves observing daily habits, words spoken in the environment, music you listen to, conversations that happen, images that are on the walls, the content that comes through the screens. All of this impacts the vibrancy of the space. A home that receives kind words, laughter, soothing sounds, and inspiring images is strengthened as a place of welcome and growth. And you can choose, with intention, the type of energy you want to feed into each room. Create a stable vibrational field. It's like adjusting the frequency of a radio station. With practice, you begin to notice when something is out of tune. You feel when the air becomes denser, when the mind stirs, when the space demands attention. And when you feel this, you already know how to act. A touch of lit sage, calming music, rearranging the room, quiet time with plants. It's small attitudes that keep the field vibrating high. Living in a lighthouse is a continuous process, a dialogue between the internal and external. Maintain the environmental energy and balance. It's about ensuring that each new day starts more calmly, with more focus, with more presence. The house becomes an extension of your emotional state, and at the same time, it becomes the environment that nourishes, sustains, and protects your peace. That's the real exchange. A space that takes care of you and is also taken care of by you. With each gesture of energy maintenance, you strengthen this connection. You reaffirm that there is no separation between what you feel and what surrounds you. Everything is in tune. Therefore, maintaining this flow means keeping your emotional health moving, protecting your mind from excess, making space for creativity, ensuring that inspiration finds a place to be born. When the environment is cared for with presence, it responds with clarity. The house shows signs of balance. Sleep improves, conversations flow, breathing deepens, the feeling of tiredness decreases. You begin to feel more energetic, more connected to the present, more open to what life has to offer. This change does not come from outside. It comes from the field that you sustain every day with small, conscious choices. And all of this happens naturally, when the intention is true. Positive energy settles in like a silent company, like a light perfume in the air, like a firm foundation that supports you even on the most challenging days. The environment becomes your ally, and maintaining this vibration is no longer a task. It becomes a lifestyle, a more aligned, more awake, deeper way of existing. Feeling this harmony growing within the house, realizing that the environments are responding to your care with more lightness, with more silence, with more fluidity. This is already a confirmation that something profound has begun to transform. The presence was activated, the gaze became more attentive, and now the space in which you live already pulses with a new frequency. This is the reflection of an energy that is being sustained with intention. And when an environment changes, everything around it changes too. People notice, the days become smoother, the mind finds more focus, and the body relaxes more easily. This is already happening there. And the most beautiful thing is that this vibration can touch other homes too, other routines, other lives that, like yours, want to breathe with more peace and purpose. Liking this video is a simple but powerful way to let this movement grow. It is a gesture that echoes as a sign of presence, of connection, of real transformation. Because when you vibrate lightly, the world around you begins to vibrate with you, and what starts inside the home has the strength to expand far beyond the walls, so that everything you've seen so far makes even more sense. I want to share a real experience, because when we talk about energy cleaning of the house, we are not talking about theory, nor about something far from reality. We are talking about concrete transformation, experienced on a daily basis, in environments like yours, with simple gestures, but made with intention. And this story I'm going to tell now shows exactly that, the direct impact that this care has on the way you live, feel, and connect with the space where you live. For a long time, my home was just the place where I slept. I spent the whole day trying to complete tasks, resolve issues, race against time, and only came home because I needed to. And even so, when he entered, something bothered him. It was difficult to explain. Sometimes it felt like chest tightness. Other times, a tiredness that appeared suddenly, even when the day hadn't been that demanding. I tidied, cleaned, organized, but still, the feeling remained. It was as if the space was asking me for something, as if it carried a story that I couldn't understand, but that crossed me every day. It was at this point that I started to really observe. In silence, I sat in different corners of the house and just looked. I looked at the objects that had been sitting there for years, at the forgotten drawers, at the pictures on the walls, at the mechanically positioned furniture, and in that silence, something in me began to open. I realized that my house carried the memory of difficult times, of decisions not made, of arguments that were never resolved, of cycles that needed to be ended. The environmental energy spoke. She was there all the time, and more than that, she was reflecting exactly how I felt inside. That's when everything started to change. Not suddenly, nor with big changes. The transformation came in simple and profound steps. The first thing I did was open all the windows, in the morning, before any other activity. I let the wind come in. I let the light touch the spaces that lived in shadow. That first draft of air brought new clarity to me. It was as if I had released an invisible tension that had been trapped there for years. That same week, I started using coarse salt in strategic points. I placed small pots in the darkest corners, behind doors, near the entrance. It was as if I was creating breathing points inside the house. And even without understanding all the details of what was happening, I felt it. The air began to feel lighter. The feeling of suffocation that came in certain rooms gradually disappeared. It was a silent but undeniable change. Then I started lighting incense more often. At first, just to perfume the environment. But then I realized that aroma also organized me inside. Walking through the house with incense in hand became a sacred moment. I mentalized intentions. I was grateful for the spaces. I blessed the corners. It was like redesigning my own presence there. And the house responded. The silence became calmer. The night became more peaceful. The sleep became deeper. I also started rearranging the furniture. A sofa that blocked natural light was moved away. A mirror that reflected a heavy corner was moved. Accumulated objects were removed, one by one, with respect. Each change was small, but each one opened up space within me. The house became clearer, more fluid, more alive, and I, along with her, started to feel more present, whole, more connected with what really made sense to me. One of the most memorable experiences happened in the bedroom. For a long time, I avoided being there during the day. I felt as if that space was pulling me into a state of discouragement. By applying the cleansing methods, salt, soothing sound, organization, a candle lit with intention, the atmosphere completely changed. For the first time in a long time, I felt like being in that environment. The bedroom has become a real resting place. The mind stopped, the body relaxed. What was once a heavy space has become a refuge. In this process, I realized that energetic cleaning of the house was not just an external ritual. It was a reunion with me. Every time I purified a corner, I also purged a part of my own history. Every time I lit a candle, I brought light into myself. Every time the incense scented the air, I felt a layer of confusion dissolve. Even the plants started to teach me. I planted a rosemary near the kitchen, placed a St. George's sword at the entrance, and left a lavender in my resting place. Taking care of them has become part of my energy routine, and by observing the rhythm of the leaves, nature's response to my care, I began to understand the beauty of the cycle that is renewed with constancy, with patience, with truth. The plants became guardians of the new vibrancy of the house. Over time, the transformation became visible to those who arrived. Friends commented on the lightness of the environment, on how good they felt there. Conversations became smoother, days more organized, decisions clearer. My productivity increased, my creativity flowed again, my disposition grew. The house had changed, but before that, it was me who changed. Today, every gesture within my home has intention. Each choice reinforces the environment I want to sustain. The energy of the environment is my ally. She supports me, strengthens me, inspires me, and it all started with simple steps, with a careful look, with the decision to care. The feeling of well-being I felt when applying these practices remains to this day, because they have become part of who I am. The house gave me back balance, silence, purpose, and I continue to cultivate every day this field where life can flourish freely. Transforming your home is also transforming yourself, and now that this process has started within you, it is impossible to ignore how much this can affect other lives. Because in every neighborhood, on every street, there are houses full of old silences, of tiredness that has no name, of stories that just need a new look to start changing. Just as your home breathed differently after each gesture of intention, others can also rediscover their lightness. All it takes is for this knowledge to reach them. Sharing this video is much more than spreading content. It's creating a real current of reconnection, presence, and healing that starts in your environment, passes through your voice, and reaches other people who may be waiting for exactly that breath of change. It's like lighting a candle, and, with it, lighting someone else's path. This transformation is already in motion, and when you share, you expand the reach of that energy. You become part of a silent and powerful movement, where each house cared for, each environment purified, each conscious gesture transforms the collective. Your action is the bridge between what you have already felt and what the world can still feel. So let that energy follow. It was made to circulate, and now she has the strength to touch other homes. Now that you have experienced in practice how small actions done with presence can transform the energy of your home, and, with it, also transform your well-being, your mental clarity, and your inner peace, it is impossible to look at your environment in the same way. This change has already begun, and it deserves to be cared for, sustained, and expanded. Everything you have created so far, with intention and lightness, can grow even more with the strength of an entire community vibrating at the same frequency. Write here in the comments what touched you most about this video. It could be a feeling, a practice that you have already started to apply, or even a doubt that still lingers inside. Your comment is part of the transformation. It makes this space grow and creates connections with other people who are also experiencing this awakening. And if there is a theme you want to see in future videos, this is the right time to suggest it. The channel exists by you and for you. And subscribing to the channel is more than just watching videos. It's saying yes to a new way of living. It's being part of a community that understands that the energy of the house is an extension of our own energy. It's walking alongside people who value silence, order, light, and purpose in every corner of the home. Here, you will find deep, accessible, and transformative content designed to guide your home and your mind towards more balance, more well-being, and more presence. After this video, continue this transformation by watching the next content here on the channel. There, you will discover new ways to strengthen the energy in your home and keep that flow alive every day. Each video is a conscious step towards creating healthier, more intuitive, and welcoming environments. Thanks for being here, for dedicating this time to your space, your energy, and yourself. Your presence has value, and every gesture you made today planted a seed of balance within your home. May this seed grow, flourish, and inspire many others around you. And never forget, your home is an extension of your balance. Take care of her, and she will take care of you.